This is really one of the most striking answers that I can remember from Kirby Smart in the time that I've covered him, which dates back all the way to 2005. He was asked on ESPN's Marty and McGee about when Georgia wins the national championship, what that will be like. And I have a lot to say about this. It was an interesting I mean, it was I think an enlightening conversation from Kirby. Here's what he said. He said, "It's going to be special. It's coming. It's a matter of time. I feel a lot of warmth for the players who played before, going back to when I played, to Coach Rick's years. There have been a lot of people who have been close but haven't quite pulled it out. But if you keep knocking at the door, it eventually comes open. You need at bats to hit home runs. It won't be about me. It will be about all the Georgia people who have been loyal and been through a lot, and they are looking forward to that opportunity when it comes." So, Kirby, when he first got, there's a story. Let me tell you about Kirby the first day he got to Georgia, which was in a very cold 2015 winter day in December. It was a little bit shocking to me, although looking back, it shouldn't have been, that Georgia let Mark Richt go. I thought it could happen, but when you have covered someone for that long and then finally something like that does happen, I knew immediately it would be Kirby Smart. I think everybody did. And I remember asking Kirby a question about coming back to his alma mater, and he tried to kind of play it down like it wasn't as big of a deal for him. I think as we all knew it was and is. It's a special place to Kirby. It's a special place to a lot of people. And in the first season that he was at Georgia in 2016, he asked the question out loud a lot, why not us? And I wrote often that is exactly the wrong question for Georgia's coach to be asking, particularly someone like Kirby Smart, who knows totally what he's doing and totally shouldn't be asking that question. The question should be, when is this going to happen? We're going to make it happen. And now you see, he would dismiss us, if we don't have a TV camera, he would dismiss us for asking this question. But he said, it's going to be special, it's coming, it's a matter of time. Yeah, that's exactly right. And it shouldn't just be one. It should be a couple or a few. Georgia isn't like a lot of places. It has things in common with Florida and Texas and Alabama and, big schools that are the flagship institutions. It doesn't have much in common with Auburn. It doesn't have much in common with Clemson when you think about it that way. No one knows where Auburn is. If you were to ask someone in Ohio, where is Auburn, they might know, but probably not. I mean, they'd think it's in Alabama, but maybe that's because they play Alabama every year. Georgia's not like that. Everyone knows where Georgia is, and they know the power of the school and its athletic department. They also know what's come with it over time has been failure in many different ways that are in the sports that are on television. In the sports that are not on television, they're a juggernaut. Okay? So when Kirby got there, the resources ramped up. He demanded it. The university institution came with him. The recruiting base in Atlanta and Georgia, but not just there. Charlotte, Jacksonville, Nashville. He's recruited guys from, Alabama, Tennessee, California, Washington State, Maryland. I mean, they've been all over the map because the brand that is Georgia is a top 5 brand in college football. And what I mean by that is, who turns on the TV set to watch these teams? Georgia's up there with Alabama. Well, no one's up there with Alabama. Let's just be clear about that. Ohio State's not up there with Alabama with the run in the last 5 years. No. It goes Alabama, Ohio State, and then it's a clump of teams. And Georgia's right there with that clump of Notre Dame, Michigan, and Georgia. Okay? So when you talk about brands and branding and can you immediately recognize what is Georgia, that's what Georgia's got, and that's what people are expecting Kirby to take and ramp up. When you look at his time at Georgia, certainly you're within a play of winning the national championship in 2017. In 2018, you lose on the last play of the game to Alabama. In 2019, you lose to possibly the best single-season team in college football history in LSU. They were amazing in 2019. 2020, no, it wasn't there. But teams and programs like Georgia, they don't take step backs if they're doing it the right way. I mean, if a 2-loss season is a step back, that tells you all you need to know. So when Kirby talks this way, I think this is the way he should speak. He's not bashful. He is a very intelligent person who is in charge of a $100 million plus organization that should be winning national championships. And it will be about him. Yeah, it 100% will be about Kirby. But it will be about a lot of other people too. No question. The kids, their parents, the sacrifices made through the years, getting in the car and going in middle school to some practice, and you live an hour away from some competition, or 2 days worth of hotel nights gone. These assistant coaches getting these guys on the field. The power, though, of Georgia, there's very few places that can replicate it. LSU, Alabama, Florida, SC, Texas, if they ever got their act together. Places like that, they're hard to stop when they get rolling. The difference for Georgia over the years has been they've been rolling, and then they've lost in either the most curious way possible or in the most painful way possible. And this to me, the Dogs remind me the most of the Red Sox. And the Red Sox just were not so lovable losers. And then they finally broke through. Or Phil Mickelson, if you want to say that. But the difference right now is that those guys did it and Georgia's not done it yet. And yet is a very powerful thing in sport. Right now, there are only, off the top of my head, 4 coaches in major college football who have won a national championship. And one of them didn't like the other 3 at all. So that Georgia's had to deal with the other guy that often is challenging, okay? That you don't even get to the playoff without playing them is another discussion for another time. But that would suggest that Georgia can't be as powerful as Alabama, which I don't buy. Now, I'm not naive. I've been around the game for a while now. Georgia totally can be powerful like that. Can they rip off 7 in 12 years or whatever Alabama's done? No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody can. I think Alabama can because of the situation that they were in, and they took advantage of it. They backed into the 2011 national championship. They saved themselves, and they get all due credit for doing so in 2012. Had a very unfortunate loss in 13, or they'd have played for the national championship that year. 14 getting taken out by Ohio State, survived Clemson in 15, and then get survived by Clemson the next year. 17, they take Clemson out on the way to beating Georgia on a miracle play. But that's been a run the likes of which we probably will never see in college football again. But Georgia can do something very similar to that. I would not be saying that about a lot of places, and I'm not even going to say them because the fans get all pissed off for no reason. But Georgia can do that. I don't think Notre Dame can. And I don't mean that in an insulting way. They don't play in a league. There's a lot of things. But the power that has not been used yet is something that Kirby's going to get judged on through the years. When he looks back at his career and his time at Georgia, you're going to lose national championship games on the last play of the game. That happens, okay? You go back and look at the 15 championship, the 16 championship, the 17 championship. Those were all on the last play of the game. Alabama was in all 3 of those games, okay? It's just what it is. And teams are really good. Miami, Ohio State in 2001. Was Ohio State the better team? No, but they won the game somehow. Last play national championships, that happens. But there's going to have to come a time where Georgia just wins the game. Whether it's on the last play of the game, like Auburn did against Oregon, or that it's kind of a comfortable win like Florida did with Oklahoma in 2008, or or blowouts like Clemson over Alabama, or Florida over Ohio State, or Alabama over Ohio State, or what Ohio State did to Oregon in 14. I mean, the last play of the game was the Florida State-Auburn game. I mean, these games come down to the last play of the game. Georgia needs to get into it. They need to get back into the batter's box like Kirby's talking about and hit a home run. Not have the last play of the game be the home run that decides the game against you. Is it a matter of time? You tell me below. Is it a matter of time? I don't know if I believe that talk. You got to make it happen. And I think Kirby has. But it's the last little inch that you got to cross. Let's talk about it over on Dog Post. We'll see you on the website.